My wife and her lover were about to kiss. Right there, in my back seat. I hit the brakes hard. The car stopped. Everything stopped. She looked up, and she saw my eyes in that mirror. The kiss died on her lips. 34 years. 34 years of my life. Every sunrise I left before she woke. Every night I came home after she slept. Every dollar. Every sacrifice. Every piece of myself I gave away. So she could be comfortable. So she could be safe. So she could be loved. And she took all of it and spent it on intimacy with another man in the backseat of my car. I want you to understand something. That almost kiss, that one moment, destroyed 34 years in 3 seconds and built something new in me. Something cold. Something quiet. Something she had never seen before. I did not scream. I did not shake. I did not cry. I just looked at her in that mirror, long, hard, unblinking, and she knew the man she married was completely gone. What was sitting in that driver's seat was 34 years of patience, done, loaded, and aimed directly at everything she had just destroyed. Before we go any further, subscribe to Revenge Handler. This channel exists for every father and grandfather who gave their best years to this family and got betrayal in return. If that hits close to home, you are exactly where you need to be. Hit subscribe right now, because what I am about to tell you, you need to hear it all the way through. My name is Gerald. I am 61 years old. I drove strangers through the night, so my wife could sleep safe, so my daughters could eat well, so this family could breathe. The night I drove my own wife and watched her lean into another man's kiss. Nothing in my life was ever the same. This is my story. Get comfortable, because the people in this story had every single chance to do the right thing. They chose wrong. Every time. Drop a comment below. Make sure you are subscribed. You are going to love it here. And if you think you already know where this is going, you don't. Not even close. It was a Saturday, 11:17 p.m., 6 hours into my shift. The city was quiet. I was tired, the kind of tired that lives in your bones. Then the app pinged. Pick up 4 streets from my house. I turned the car around, thought nothing of it. I pulled up to a bar called Sullivan's. I had never heard of it. My wife did not go to bars. She told me so herself. Many times. Then I saw her, standing under an orange sign, heels I had never seen before, a dress bought for someone else's eyes. Hair done like tonight was important. At 7 p.m., she told me she had a headache. At 7 p.m., she said she was going to sleep early. There was a man beside her, standing too close, his mouth near her ear, saying something that made her laugh. That full open laugh, the one I had not heard in years, the one she used to say for me. She reached for the back door, got in. He followed, immediately, naturally, like he had done it before, like this was normal for them. Their shoulders pressed together, her hand resting near his. Then he leaned toward her, slow, deliberate, moving toward that kiss, and I hit the brakes. Hard. The car lurched forward. He grabbed the seat. She grabbed the door and looked up. Our eyes met in the mirror. 3 seconds. The longest 3 seconds of my life. She did not move, did not speak. Her lips, still parted from the almost kiss, pressed slowly shut. He looked confused, looked at her, looked at the mirror, did not understand what he was seeing. I said nothing. I accepted the ride. I put the car in drive, and I took them exactly where they were going, because I already knew something she didn't. The intimacy she chose that night was going to cost her absolutely everything. Let me take you back to where this started. 34 years ago, I married my best friend. We had nothing. One apartment, second-hand furniture, more love than sense. I worked double shifts for 20 years. never complained, never left, because that is what a man does. He stays, he builds, he protects. 3 years ago I lost my job. 22 years at the same company. Gone. One meeting. One envelope. Done. I did not break. I started driving Uber. Nights. Weekends. Holidays. Linda said she was proud of me. Said it with tears in her eyes. I believed every word, because while I drove strangers through the dark, she was building a world of intimacy with someone else. While I paid the bills, she was saving her kisses for him. While I wore myself down for this family, she was rebuilding herself for another man. And every single person around me knew. Her sister knew. Her friends knew. Carla knew. They watched me leave every night and said nothing. And that was just the beginning. Drop a comment below where you watching from right now, and stay with me, because this story is only getting started. If you are just joining, go back, watch from the start, because what I am about to tell you only lands if you felt that mirror moment, that almost kiss, that silence in the car. You need to feel that first. I completed the ride. I drove them to their destination, a hotel 12 minutes from our house. 12 minutes. I had driven past that hotel 100 times. Never thought twice about it. He got out first. Did not look at me. To him, I was nobody. Just a driver. Just a gray-haired old man in the front seat. Invisible. She stayed. 1 second. 2. 3. She sat in that back seat, where the intimacy was supposed to happen, where that kiss almost landed, and she could not move. I watched her in the mirror. She was staring at her own hands. Then she looked up. One more time. Her eyes were wet. She got out, closed the door, quietly, like she was trying not to break something. Too late for that. I sat in that hotel driveway, engine running, hands on the wheel, 14 minutes. I counted everyone. Then I drove home. I did not go inside right away. I sat in the driveway. Our driveway. The one I repaved myself 3 summers ago. I looked at our house. Every light off. Every window dark. The home I built. The life I bled for. Still standing. Still looking exactly the same. But something was different now. Something had shifted underneath it all. Like the foundation had cracked. And only I could feel it. I went inside, made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, opened my phone, and I went back through everything. Every message I had ignored. Every late night I had accepted, without question. Every kiss she gave me at the door, right before she went to meet him. I went back 6 months. 6 months of lies. Not sloppy lies. Not careless lies. Organized. Rehearsed. Practiced. This woman had looked me in the eye every single day and chosen him over and over and over again. Here's what I found. The same restaurant. 5 times. For months in a row. A hotel. Not our credit card. Her personal account. The one I never checked because I trusted her. His name in her phone. Saved as Dana from Pilates. Dana from Pilates. I had heard that name dozens of times. I even asked once, "Is Dana coming to your birthday dinner?" She said Dana was out of town. I nodded, went back to the TV. The intimacy had been going on right in front of me. Every kiss she described giving the girls goodbye. Every laugh she brought home smelling like someone else's cologne. Right in front of me. And I had smiled and nodded and believed every word. If this is hitting close to home, give this video a like right now. You know exactly what I mean. Then I found the photograph on her tablet in a folder labeled Recipes. A photograph of the two of them. Rooftop restaurant. Golden light. Her head on his shoulder. His arm around her waist. Both of them smiling. Not a guilty smile. Not a careful smile. a happy smile. Full, open, free. My wife, the woman who cried at our daughter's graduation, who kept my mother's rosary on her nightstand, who told me last Christmas I was her whole world, smiling like that, for him. I stared at that photograph for a long time, a very long time. Then I closed the tablet, put it back exactly where I found it, walked to the bedroom, and laid down beside her. She was already home by then, came in at 2 a.m., slid in beside me, whispered she was sorry she was late, said Carla needed her. I said okay. She put her hand on my arm, the same hand that had been reaching for him, the same lips that almost kissed him in my back seat. She kissed my shoulder and fell asleep in 3 minutes. I lay there in the dark, eyes wide open, stone still, and I made my decision. No explosion, no confrontation, no broken dishes, no tears in the driveway. She wanted intimacy with another man. Fine, let her have it, for now, because what was coming was something no kiss, no hotel room, no photograph in a folder called recipes could ever prepare her for. She thought the worst moment was that mirror, that car, that heartbreak. She thought that was the bottom. She had no idea. The bottom had not even started yet. Still with me? Good, because this is where everything changes. I did not confront her that morning, or the next day, or the day after that. I know what you're thinking. Why wait? Why lie there beside the woman who almost kissed another man in your back seat and say nothing? Because I had seen what rage does. I had watched my father confront too soon, too loud, too visible. He showed every card he had in one moment and lost everything. I was not my father. Rage is loud. Loud men lose. Patient men collect everything first. Then they move. Once. Quietly. And it is over. I made 3 phone calls that same morning. While she slept, while the woman who had been building a world of intimacy with another man slept peacefully in our bed. I sat at that kitchen table, and I made 3 calls that changed everything. The first call was to my brother David. David is an attorney. He did not ask many questions. He listened. Then he said, "Do not touch anything yet. Do not move a single dollar. Do not say one word to her. Document everything. I will call you Thursday." I said fine. The second call was to my accountant. I needed to know exactly where we stood. Every account, every asset, every property, every number with both our names attached to it. I needed the full picture before she had any chance to change it. The third call was to a private investigator, a man named Carl, retired police, 23 years on the force, recommended by David. Carl did not waste words. I told him what I needed. He told me his rate. I said start Monday. Then I went back to the bedroom, got back into bed, laid down beside her. She stirred, put her arm around me, said good morning in that soft voice, the voice I had loved for 34 years. I said good morning back, and inside, I was stoned. For the next 45 days, I was the perfect husband. Dinner on time, weekends at home, asking about her day, listening to every story about Carla, about book club, about Dana from Pilates. I nodded. I smiled. I even laughed sometimes, while Carl was outside, watching, photographing, documenting every kiss, every hotel visit, every intimate moment she thought was invisible. Carl came back to me after 2 weeks, sat across from me at a diner, slid a folder across the table. His name was Marcus, 44 years old, divorced, sales director at a company across town. He knew I existed. Carl confirmed it. Marcus knew she was married. He knew my name. He had seen photographs of me. He chose to continue anyway. Every kiss, every hotel room, every intimate evening was a choice he made knowing exactly who I was. The folder had everything: photographs, timestamps, locations, phone records, hotel receipts, every piece clean, every piece organized, every piece admissible. David reviewed the folder on Thursday. He called me that evening. He said, "Gerald, you have everything you need." I said, "I know." He said, "When do you want to move?" I said, "Not yet." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because she is not finished yet. And every day she continues is another day she hand me more. Let her kiss him. Let her meet him. Let her believe she is safe. Because the longer she continues, the heavier the door becomes when it finally closes on her." David was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You are a cold man, Gerald." I said, "No, I am a patient one. There's a difference." On day 43, something changed. She came home distracted, quiet in a way I had not seen before, barely touched her dinner. Later, I heard her on the phone in the bathroom, voice low. I could not hear the words, only the tone. Something was wrong on her end. Something between them was shifting. I found out from Carl 2 days later. Marcus had started pulling back, canceling plans, going quiet. She was panicking, silently, trying to hold on to something that was already slipping. And that is when I chose to move. Not because I was angry, not because I was jealous, because the timing was perfect. She was already off balance, already cracking. What I was about to do was not revenge. It was precision. I called David that night. I said, "Thursday." He said, "I will be ready." I hung up, went to the living room, sat beside her on the couch. She leaned her head on my shoulder, the way she always did. I let her, because it was the last time, and she did not know it yet. We are almost at the end. Subscribe if you have not yet, because what happens next is something I have never told anyone. You stayed. Good. Because this, right here, is why patience is the most dangerous weapon a quiet man owns. Thursday came. I woke up early, made coffee, made her breakfast, set it on the table the way I always did. Eggs, toast, orange juice. She came downstairs in her robe, smiled at the plate, said thank you the way she always did, sat down, started eating. I sat across from her, hands around my mug, watching her. She looked up, said, "Why are you staring at me?" I said, "Because I want to remember this." She laughed, thought I was being romantic, went back to her toast. At 9 a.m. the doorbell rang. It was David, and a woman I did not know, a process server. Linda looked at the door, looked at David, looked at me. I said, "Sit down, Linda." She did not sit. I slid the folder across the table. Carl's folder. Every photograph. Every timestamp. Every kiss documented. Every intimate evening recorded. Every hotel receipt. Every message. She looked at the first page, and her legs gave out. She grabbed the table. I said, 45 days, Linda. I gave you 45 days to come to me, to tell me the truth, to choose this family. You chose him. Every single morning. Every single kiss goodbye at that door. You chose him. She started crying. Said it meant nothing. Said it was a mistake. Said she loved me. I said, "The photographs say something different." She reached for my hand. I stood up. I said, "Marcus is not returning your calls. I know that. Carl told me. He has been telling me everything. For 45 days. The color left her face. I said, "He knew I existed. He knew my name. He saw my photograph." He continued anyway. That folder goes to his employer Monday morning. His divorce attorney already received a copy last night. His children's mother knows everything. She whispered, "Gerald, please." I said, "David has the paperwork. The house stays with me. My attorney made sure that 3 weeks ago. You have 30 days. She collapsed into the chair. The same chair she sat in every morning. The same table where she told me about Carla, about book club, about Dana from Pilates. She sat there and she fell apart. And I felt something I did not expect. Not satisfaction, not anger, not victory. Grief. Pure and heavy grief. For the 34 years that were real. For the woman she used to be. For the life we actually built. I picked up my keys. Walked to the door. Stopped. Turned around one last time. I said, I drove strangers every night. So you could be safe. So you could be warm. So you could be loved. That is who I was. That is what you had. And you traded it for a man who will not even answer your calls. I walked out. Marcus lost his position 4 days later. His employer did not appreciate the liability. His ex-wife reopened the custody agreement. His life, the one he built while destroying mine, came apart at every seam. Linda called me 17 times that first week. I answered once. I listened. I said, I hope you find what you were looking for. And I hung up. My daughters know everything. They chose to stay in my life. They chose their father. I still drive sometimes. Not for money anymore. Just to think. Just to sit in the quiet of the road. Windows down. Radio off. Sometimes I drive past Sullivan's. That orange sign. Still lit up. I do not feel anger when I see it. I feel something quieter than that. I feel free. Because in the end, I did not destroy her. I simply stopped protecting her. And the rest took care of itself. If this story moved you, subscribe to Revenge Handler. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And drop a comment below, because your story matters too. I will see you in the next one.